tell you. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, Jeet Kune Do Rebel. So this is supposed to be the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 200 and 55. And it's the one about the Jeet Kune Do journey versus the personal journey. So I just lost access to my notes, right? So we can do one or two things, or we could do two things. So let's see who's here. Mark Black is here. Good. Maybe this will work. James Bishop is here. Bucky Barreto is here. All right. So I could try to lecture you guys based on my recollection of my notes, right? And tell you things like, I went through the text of, James Bishop will appreciate this. I went through the text of almost everything in the Bruce Lee library, the John Little books and what have you, and looked up how many times the word individual shows up, okay? And then what I did was to copy particular sentences, including the word individual. And so I was going to be lazy, so to speak, and just just read for you guys what was being said. But I lost access to my notes. So let's do this instead. You guys know the title of today's broadcast, the personal journey versus the Jeet Kune Do journey, or I forget whatever way it was. So somebody in the comments, because I'm going to try to keep the comments open where I can see them. So any of you guys who are here, Bucky Barreto's here, James Bishop, Mark Black, Ramon Diaz, Russell, Terry Valor. Terry did, Terry, I think Mark Black beat you. Norman Taylor's here, Tom Macaluso. Okay, so let's do this. I might get access to my document in a second. What do you guys make of, somebody in the comments, tell me what your take on the personal journey versus the Jeet Kune Do journey is. And when my notes come up, then I'll start talking, lecturing to you. But for now, if anybody is willing, put something in the comments, your take on. Actually, this will be kind of a preview for Friday's Jeet Kune Do debate, because we're doing another open mic debate on Friday instead of me interviewing someone. So Bucky Barreto says the Jeet Kune Do journey and the personal journey are not two. I think Bucky's been paying attention when in class or otherwise I say something about they asked Bruce Lee what's the difference between hard style and soft style, and Bruce Lee said not two, as in there's no difference between. So if I get that right, Bucky's saying that the Jeet Kune Do journey and the personal journey are not separate things, right? Now, what's interesting is my JKD senior, my good friend, Michael Marcellus Brown, he said something earlier today. I think it was that the Jeet Kune Do journey is a personal journey, but one's personal journey doesn't have to have Jeet Kune Do in it. Well, yeah, I mean, because not everybody in the world who is on some kind of personal journey is involved in Jeet Kune Do. However, I still want, okay, so, all right, so I got that comment from Anthony. And here we go. 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, that's not it. Well, maybe this is it. Hang on. Mark Black, Jeet Kune Do and personal journey are the same. right? Okay, all right. So I think then, let me see. Oh man, this is so annoying and embarrassing. Where are we? No, I do not need two versions of it. One is enough. Okay, so this is uncovered, recovered, whatever. Okay. All right, give me 1 second, please. Who's that guy? I love my computer when it works, but then when it decides to do its own thing, I feel like it's time for a new one. All right. Let's see. Okay, so thus far, I guess we're in agreement, so to speak. All right, Tom. Okay, wait. All right. Well, see, now it's too much comments, right? Sifu Nasano's expression, put in your signature on the art. Okay. Terry Valor says, I still stand by the JKD from 1973 is the base of the art, and it should be taught first, then it's a personal JKD. Terry Valor, I'm going to so cancel you one of these days if you don't get your I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Terry. I'll never cancel you. The JKD journey is a personal one when one follows the tenets of JKD and explores the art with the lens of JKD. Creativity, personal, of a sacred. All right. Okay. So James Bishop had something to say. Right? All knowledge is self-knowledge. Pursue mastery in area. Yeah, but James, this is the thing. See, but we're not looking to separate the martial art aspect of one's personal journey, because we're talking Jeet Kune Do. So we're not looking to separate. So yeah, I could have a personal journey that is completely unaffected by anything that has to do with my martial art. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about one's personal journey in the martial art and how is that connected or not connected to one's Jeet Kune Do. So don't separate them. Jerry says JKD is what you need it to be, but its basic needs. Well, okay, so I don't understand. I don't understand why you guys think it necessary to comment about how much it has to be based in Jeet Kune Do. It's like all right. You know what? Okay, so here are my notes. All right, so let me start lecturing. But this is good, and I hope that you guys can show up on Friday so that we can get into this a little bit more. All right, so my opening said, I don't understand why this one is so hard for people to get. So what it is that people don't seem to be able to wrap their heads around what it is that makes Jeet Kune Do and the Jeet Kune Do experience so different from mainstream martial arts. See, and that is being reflected in some of what some of you are saying. The Jeet Kune Do experience should not at all be looked at as a mainstream martial art. So for example, somebody in a mainstream martial art like Shotokan, that's not that yeah, for them that could be a personal journey, but very often they are not seeking to evolve as a human being through Shotokan. They're looking to get their ranking, they're looking to get their black belt and what have you, but their life philosophies, their outlooks on various things are not included in their study of their classical martial art, because their classical martial art is not a vehicle that encompasses the other aspects of their being. Jeet Kune Do is not like that. Jeet Kune Do does definitely encompass the other aspects of one's being. Jeet Kune Do, the way you look, the way you end up looking at things can be defined by your Jeet Kune Do experience. And that's the part I think that a lot of you guys are not getting, right? You don't seem to understand how to use the Bruce Lee story or the Bruce Lee example to affect your own personal evolution. So my thinking was that I was going to be lazy and let Bruce Lee's words convey my message without me having to do too much work, right? Putting things into my own words. But before we get to that, because because of the way this thing happened, let me touch on this aspect of the discussion. And this is what I think contributes to the confusion for and the stubbornness of people like my good friend Terry Valor, who I love to death, but I'm going to rag on him a little bit. And that is my Sifu Dan Inosanto saying words to the effect of Jun Fan is the physical art, whereas Jeet Kune Do is the philosophy. See, it might have been better stated and even more accurately stated to say something like, when Bruce Lee was more steeped in the physical aspects or the technical aspects of his system, during the time that it was referred to as the Jun Fan method of Kung Fu, or even Jun Fan Kung Fu or whatever, right? So when Bruce Lee was more steeped in the physicality of his art, that was the name that whether or not it was applied, whether that name was applied during his lifetime or afterwards when we started to chronicle his history and development, as opposed to after the Wong Jack Man fight, where the realization is that, as it says in the Art and Philosophy book, his stubborn adherence to Wing Chun based techniques were being canceled out, so to speak, by Wong Jack Man's law horn techniques. And so Bruce Lee's mind started to be more oriented towards a less than specific approach to fighting. And so his philosophy, his philosophical approach started to become more all-encompassing. Now, you see how long it takes to say all of that and to explain all of that? Easier to say, well, Jun Fan is kind of like the physical art, whereas Jeet Kune Do is more of the art's philosophy in action. See, knowing Sifu Dan the way I do, if he says something like that, he thinks that he's saying it to people who fully understand the process that is Jeet Kune Do. He doesn't realize that he's talking to people who are seeking to classicalize Jeet Kune Do and to separate stuff into before, during, and after. In terms of, there was the product from Seattle, then there was the product in Oakland, then there was the product and all this 63 curriculum, the 1966, 67, the trapping progressions, all that crap, right? You guys are taking such a fixed approach to this thing that is organic. And part of the confusion is because no less an authoritative figure than Dan Inosanto said something like, Jun Fan is the base art. And y'all latched on to those words, the base art. Oh, so we got to make sure that we preserve the base art. We got to make sure that we teach the base art first. Bruce Lee was doing stuff as it came to him, and it was like, we should work on developing this, and we're teaching. Everything that is Jeet Kune Do is a result of Bruce Lee's personal journey, shared with people with the understanding that they would also be affected by their personal journey. So it's possible to call it all Jeet Kune Do, even though we're all individuals having our own individual experiences. But this idea you guys have that if you're researching something for your own personal evolution, well, that something cannot be Jeet Kune Do, right? That, or you have to call it your own Jeet Kune Do and your own personal evolution. That's bogus crap. That is so stupid, right? It's not even funny, okay? It's all Jeet Kune Do, whatever it is that you do, right? Now, the part about it has to fall within the tenets of Jeet Kune Do and what have you. Well, of course, like I've famously said before, you can't start folding your fist like this and going like this and saying, this is my personal Jeet Kune Do and this is how I punch. That's stupid. And you're not supposed to be stupid in JKD. But you guys are latching on to this thing where you're fossilizing something that is supposed to always be organic and be life. And okay, let me get off the soapbox. Let me just read Bruce Lee words, right? In the Tao of Kung Fu, the word individual or derivations of the word individual appear 7 times in the Tao of Kung Fu. In the foreword, I think it is, it says, speaking about Bruce Lee, he is the founder of Jeet Kune Do, the first martial art to ever be predicated on total freedom for the individual practitioner. There's a section about the best way to learn, entitled The Best Way to Learn. The question is, what is the best way for a person to learn Chinese Kung Fu? Bruce Lee says, by being himself. The main thing is teaching a man to do his thing, to just be himself. The individual is more important than the style. If a person is awkward, he should not try to be agile. I'm against trying to impose a style on a man. This is an art, an expression of a man's own self. In Jeet Kune Do commentaries on the martial way, the word individual or derivations thereof appear 17 times. There's a section, I won't read because I've gone 17 minutes already, so I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read the last part of this. It says, Jeet Kune Do ultimately is not a matter of petty technique, but of highly developed personal spirituality and physique. A matter of high. So you see what I said about pre-Wong Juk Man, or the realization post Wong Juk Man that he was relying on specific types of techniques. See? And then ultimately he ends up saying Jeet Kune Do is not a matter of petty technique, but of highly developed personal spirituality and physique. I don't understand why you guys don't get that, right? In okay, I think I messed up. So, oh yeah, it is 17 times. Yeah, right. This is again in the forward. Man, I might have gotten that wrong. I might have messed up 2 books there. Anyhow, right? The words are important, not necessarily where they come from. So this is Ted Wong in the forward for commentaries. Jeet Kune Do is a unique martial art in that it is the first martial art that is not based solely upon tradition. Granted, Jeet Kune Do has specific and distinguishing techniques and a core curriculum that Bruce thought important enough to teach to all his students. However, this is viewed more as a launching pad from which the individual practitioner initiates his own exciting journey of self-discovery and self-expression. I don't know what else y'all need to hear. A section called The Ways of Instruction. Kicking to the side from natural position, low first, then according to individual flexibility, which goes back to what he was talking about in the Tao of Kung Fu, right? If a guy is not if he's awkward, don't try to make him agile. If he doesn't have great flexibility, don't try to turn him into a high kicker. In a section called the lesson plan, do not force individuals into positions that are impossible for them. You remember, do y'all remember when I put up a thing about shaping the art to suit the person and not trying to shape the person to suit the art? And people were jumping up and down about Oh well, it's got if you change the structure of Jeet Kune Do, then it's not Jeet Kune Do. That nobody's saying change the structure. See, Joe Bruce himself said, "Do not force individuals into positions that are impossible for them." Is that not the same thing as shaping the art, right? To suit the person rather than shaping the person to suit the art. Yeah, whatever, right? The individual is of first importance, not the system, a man-made system. Classical methods and tradition make the mind a slave. You are no longer an individual, but merely a product. See, so when y'all do this thing about we gotta teach the Jun Fan and preserve the Jun Fan and the base art, you gotta teach that first before you move on to the Jeet Kune Do. That is classicalizing, and that is tradition. That's the whole idea of you gotta do the white belt stuff first before you gotta do this or whatever. And that's not to be misconstrued as lack of progressiveness. Okay, yeah, obviously you have to crawl before you can walk and before you can run. That's true. But this whole thing about Jun Fan is this separate thing that has to be done first. You're making it traditional and you're classicalizing, and you're not being free-minded, right? That's a word. Okay. Yeah, but right, because he says here, classical methods and tradition make the mind a slave. You're no longer an individual, but merely a product. Your mind is the result of 1,000 yesterdays. So when you go backwards in your Jeet Kune Do and start applying these ideas of yesterday to your today Jeet Kune Do, that ain't it. That ain't it, right? Another section called Beyond System, the ultimate source of Jeet Kune Do. By martial art, I mean, like any art, it is an unrestricted athletic expression of an individual soul. That's the whole thing about letting people be themselves. Letting people be themselves. What else needs to be said? In Artists of Life, the word individual or derivations thereof appear 94 times, right? I'll just read you a couple of them. Its core, however, lies in the individual mind. And until that is touched, everything is still uncertain and only superficial. So, whereas the individual is total and universal, a particular style is partialized. Above all, a teacher should not depend on a method and drill systematic routines. Instead, he studies each individual student and awakens him to explore himself. The final aim of JKD is toward personal liberation. The instructors simply point the way to individual freedom and matured inwardness. What's the other one? Thus, unlike the traditional martial arts that are handed on by precepts, listen to this. Thus, unlike the traditional martial arts, which are handed on by precepts of fixed forms. So when you all harp on this, the 66 to 67 curriculum, you got to make sure that you're covering the 66 to 67 curriculum. That's a fixed form, right? This is what Bruce Lee was against. So I don't know where y'all get this idea from. That whatever. JKD can only be taught by personal and individual experiencing in the living present. The more restricted a method, the lesser the opportunity for one's individual freedom of expression. I don't know how much more. Don't y'all read this stuff? And when you read this stuff, what do? You just cancel it out. And it's like, well, okay, well, that sounds fine, but I got to make sure that we're doing the 67 base art curriculum. What? How about you take that 67 base art curriculum and recognize that 1967 and the way people were fighting is not the same way that people are fighting in 2022. So you take what makes sense, because there's always stuff across the years that makes sense. So you take that, right? You take that, and what Ted Wong said about launch and pad, maybe you analyze that, and that could be an example of a launch and pad, as opposed to this, we got to make sure the 67 curriculum anyhow, right? I'm sure we're going to have a good time on Friday with this. All right, so that's enough of this, right? So let me, I'm gonna, I don't know if I can do it tonight. I might have to wait until tomorrow, or I might copy and paste some of what you guys are talking about and use that for open mic on Friday, because I don't think I'm going to be able to go through this stuff and answer and talk to you guys tonight. And then tomorrow I got to train some clients, and then I got to do class in the evening. So yeah, so that's probably what I will do. But please keep commenting and giving me feedback and giving me fodder for Friday at 6 p.m. Right? So yeah, so that's it for tonight. Right? So let me know what you think. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, and on Instagram at Dwight D Woods, at paypal.me/UnifiedMA Miami. The Jeet Kune Do Journey, raw but edited version, volume 1 is still available. And I didn't get to do stuff in the beginning, so this is this month's offering over at JKD Rebel Gear. The UMAA Kali JKD t-shirt, my favorite design of all time, our replica of the Inasano, one of my favorite Inasano designs as well. All right, and it is a throwback and an homage to Ted Lukai, who was one of the first to introduce the idea of Kali and JKD being, cohesive units. So that's available at jkdrebel.com. Click on the Rebel Gear link. All right. Okay. All right. So that's it. Hang out with me. Open mic debate on Friday at 6 p.m. If you got separate questions that are not related to what we just talked about tonight, message me, jkdrebel@gmail.com, or Facebook Messenger, or when I do the postcard. I'll try to do the postcard tonight. I should be able to do the postcard tonight. Put the comments in there. Put your question / comment in there, and let's hang out on Friday and have some more fun. Right? Today's an Indigo Day. There we go. Right? Okay. So, all right. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I'll see you on Friday. Be safe. I hope COVID isn't raising its ugly head. I have 3 people in my circle who've recently been affected by COVID, man. But one of them is like, "What? I'm supposed to be sick?" Because he tested positive and he hasn't done anything different, and he hasn't felt anything. So whatever, right? Anyhow, be safe, and see you on Friday. Talk soon. Take care.